Yeah, now everything will be online only. Only you need to go and submit your assignment there to college. That's it. So do start preparing for that. I'll let you all know the dates for seminar. Okay. As of now, we'll focus on completing the syllabus, and thereafter we'll start with seminar. Okay. So we are supposed to look at this. What the functions of commercial bank. So you all understand what are commercial banks, right? I've given you all the example. SBI. ಯತೀಶ್ ನಿಮ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ಆನ್ ಮಾಡಿ. SBI, IDBI, Bank of Baroda, all these banks which you see around you, you all are called commercial banks, right? So under commercial banks also you have two types of bank. One, some are public sector banks and some are private banks, right? So anyways, you don't have to worry about that. You all that you need to know now is functions. What are the functions which any bank? Both the bank perform almost a similar function. Okay, there is little bit variation. Private and public both are performing almost similar. There are some basic functions which are similar to both. We'll study them. Okay. So functions of commercial bank. So basically, there are two main functions which a commercial bank performs. Important are two. Okay, then there are subdivision under those functions, and there are some less important functions as well. We'll study all of those, but you should be thorough with these two functions. These are very important. One is deposit and the other one is, right, you all are aware of it, right? You go and deposit your money in bank. So this is one function. Another one is lending of loan. Yes, Bhavata, why are you late? Keep your video on. Yatish, Bhavata, keep your video on and keep writing as in how I'm explaining these things, okay? I've been seeing Bhavata, you are very irregular in class. Hmm? What is wrong? See, from now onwards, this is only a new normal for you all. You will not have those old classes which you used to have earlier in the college. So now I think all your syllabus will be completed through online only, through online mode. You'll have to study like this only. So you can't be irregular like this and miss out on important topics, right? So these two are very important functions. We are discussing about functions of commercial banks. So this is a very important topic under unit 2. You can get a 10-mark question on this, right? So deposits, you all know, like you go keep your money into bank savings. Deposits are something like savings. Okay, keep your money into banks, so that is deposits. And what do bank do? They keep your money safely with them, and they also give you some interest on those money, right? So that this is one function of bank. The other one is to lend loan. So bank is also giving loan to you all. You have housing loan, you have business loan, right? There are various kinds of loan like this, education loan. So bank is giving loan, right? And it also charge what interest rate on loan. So interest is always there. So this is like, interest is nothing but the money what they are taking for their functioning, for the work what they are carrying out for you, right? So here, okay, so banks act as an intermediaries between those who have surplus money and those who need it. So it is acting as an intermediator. Bank is a intermediator between those who have surplus money. More money, ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ದುಡ್ಡಿದೆ, they can go and keep their money with banks. And those who are in need of money, this is more and this is less money, or they are in need of money, they can go and approach bank, right? and get money from the banks, right, in the form of loan. So bank is acting as a intermediary. This thing you should remember. So to receive deposits and to advance loans are thus two main functions. So what are two main functions? Receive deposits and advance loans, right? Of all commercial banks. In short, they borrow to lend, right? So they borrow in the form of deposits and lend in various forms of advances. Besides, there are other incidental functions which have developed according to the need of the society. Some of the most essential functions of commercial banks are as follows. So here, okay, so first we'll be discussing about deposits. Okay, we'll see what are the various kinds of deposits the banks are keeping with them. Banks are accepting. Okay, so first one is, so the first function is accepting deposits. Banks attract the idle savings of people in the form of deposits. So they are attracting, banks are doing what? They are attracting the idle savings of people. So whatever people are having, like more money in their hand, that money they can go and invest in banks, right? For which they will also get some interest, right? So this is how banks are attracting the idle savings of the people by giving them some interest rate on the money which they are keeping with banks, right? So these deposits may be of any of the following types. So there are various types you must know. Under deposits, there are various types. Like in short, I can okay, first I'll give you all the glance and then we'll discuss each one of them. So first one is demand deposit. Demand deposit is one. The second one is, so it is under deposit. Okay, demand deposit. The second one is fixed deposit. So this is first function. The second function is fixed deposit or time, it is also called as time deposit. The third one is saving bank deposit. So these are the three type of deposits. What are those? Demand, fixed, and savings, right? So you can put a arrow mark like this and write all those three here in the starting itself. One is demand deposit. The other one is fixed deposit, right? The other one is, third one is saving deposit. Right. Okay, we'll discuss now each one of them. Okay, so what is demand deposit? As the word itself is telling you all, demand deposit is nothing but the deposits which you can get back from the bank on your demand. Whenever you go ask for your money to the bank has to lend that money back to you. So that is called as demand deposit. Anytime you can go and get that money which you have kept it in bank, right? That is demand deposit, also known as current account. It is also called as current account, right? So these are, demand deposits are repayable on demand without any notice. So you don't have to give a notice to banks, right, that I am coming and I need some money. Say you've deposit, say some 1 lakh, right, in bank. You and you need 50,000 of that 1 lakh right now, right? So you can go ask for this 50,000 anytime, right? Anytime you can go to the bank and ask for this. Anytime in the sense the timings of their bank, okay? That is 10 to 3, as you all, 10 to 4, right? So as you all must be aware. So in between that time, you can go and ask for this 50,000 and you don't have to give a notice, right? You don't have to note, I mean, go and tell them earlier that I'll be needing this money and I need it in, you know, I mean, on so and so date. There's nothing like giving a notice to them. you can directly go and ask for this 50,000, and the bank is obliged to give you that 50,000. So this is if you have kept it under demand deposit. So this is one condition. Your money should be kept under demand deposits. So usually no interest is paid. So one thing you should understand, there is no interest for this, right? You don't get paid any interest on these demand deposits because takshna ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ, anytime they have to keep ready the money that you can ask them anytime, right? So you don't get actually any interest on this. The interest is high on the fixed deposit. You must remember this. Banks pay a higher interest on fixed deposits and a lesser interest on savings bank deposit, but no interest on demand deposits. Okay, is paid on them because the bank cannot utilize short-term deposits because they are not able to utilize that deposits, right? Anytime they have to keep that money ready for you, right? You can go and ask. You may go and ask that money anytime to bank, right? So because the banks cannot utilize short-term deposits and must therefore keep almost 100% reserve against them. On the other hand, a little commission is charged for the service rendered. Occasionally, however, a small interest is paid to people who keep large balances. So, occasionally, sometimes they can give you small interest rate, very small interest rate if the deposit is very large, right? This you must remember. Usually no interest rate, but occasionally small interest rate only if the deposits are very large, right? Then the second point is fixed deposits. Under deposits, you have second type of deposit, that is fixed deposit, or it is also called as time deposit. So fixed is you have, as the word itself is telling you, the deposits which you will get in a fixed time, like 10 years, 20 years, right? You go keep some deposits in bank saying that for 10 years you will not go asking for that money, right? Or say 10 or 20 years. Only after 10, if you've kept it for 10 years, then only after 10 years you can go and ask for that money from the bank, right? And in meanwhile, what banks will do is they'll give you the interest rate. Okay. So these deposits can be withdrawn only after the expiry of the period for which these deposits have been made. So fixed deposit or time deposits can be withdrawn only after the expiry of the period. That is, say if you've kept it for 10 years, then only after that period you will get those money back for which these deposits have been made. Higher interest is paid. So you must remember here, a very high interest is paid on them, the rate rising with the length of the period and amount of deposits. So the interest rate will depend on what the period, time period, and the amount of the deposits. If you have high amount, if you're depositing a higher amount, then you will get probably a higher interest rate. And if you're keeping the money for a longer period of time, say from 10 to 20 years, then you will get a higher interest rate, right, on your deposits. Say for 10 years you are supposed to get some 5%. Okay, the bank may give you 5% interest rate if you're keeping your deposits for 10 years. But if you go and keep it for 20 years, then maybe they will give you interest rate of 7% on your deposits, right? So the usual rate in India today varies between 6% and 110%. So usual rate in India is 6% to 110%, depending upon the time period for which the deposits are made, right? Okay, so next one is savings bank deposits. So the third type of deposit is savings bank deposits. So these are nothing but here you get a little lesser interest than compared to the fixed deposits, right? These deposits stands midway. This is somewhere in middle. It's neither like current nor like fixed. It is somewhere, you should place it somewhere in between, right? Savings account, in terms of interest, it is somewhere in between, right? So these deposits stands midway between current and fixed accounts. These deposits are not as freely withdrawable as current account. One or two withdrawals up to a limit of 1/4 of the deposits, but not more than rupees 1000 are generally allowed in a week. So there is some limit which, you know, only up to that limit you can withdraw the money, right? Whenever you need it, like 1000 per week, only 1000 per week you can withdraw it. Here under current account, any amount anytime you can go and ask bank, but and fixed, it is fixed, right? 10 years means 10 years only. In between you can't go and ask bank. But savings only, you know, you can like withdraw the amount as per your need, but there is a limitation on this, like 1000 per week, like this, right? So the rate of interest is less than that on fixed deposits. So the interest rate wise also, you know, it is somewhere in between, higher than current account but lesser than fixed deposits. Okay, now we are in this functions of giving loan. Any doubts so far under deposits? So deposits is over, one function is over. The next important function is giving loans. We'll be doing this loans. If there's any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, no doubts. We'll proceed. Giving loans. This is actually a second function. Okay, giving loans. So under loans also, you know, you have various types of loans, right? So bank is doing another important function of lending loans, right? Or giving loan to people who are in need of it. Like, as I gave you example, what are those example? Can anyone tell me? In the starting, I gave some example. What are the type of loans you get from bank? Yes, Yatish. Yatish, ಹೇಳಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್, ಈ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿ. ಲೋನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ಟೈಪ್ ಲೋನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕಿಂದ? ಎಸ್, ವೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಯತೀಶ್? So it's like physically present but mentally absent. Only the names have been shown but you don't actually participate. Bhavta has also turned off the video.
Ma'am, I am here, ma'am.
Huh?
I'm here. Demand fixed saving and savings.
Okay, so those are types of deposits, right? Now we are looking at loans. So what are types of loans you get from bank? Tell me. What are the different types of loans you get from bank? Can you tell me some one or two? I also mentioned them in my, I mean, the starting initially when I started the class. So you get housing loan, right? You get education
Yeah.
loan, then you get business loan. So these are various types of loans we are getting from banks, right? Okay, so we'll proceed here. I'll just give you all the glance over what we are going to study under loans. So money is advanced by banks in any one of the following ways. So there are various ways through which the banks is giving money, that is by allowing an overdraft. I'll tell you what this overdraft is. The second one, this by creating a deposit. These are the ways by which the bank is actually giving loans, loans or money, right? But the various types of loans are something different, like loan, housing loan and all, right? Housing, education loan, all those are loans. Right? Now, in which ways the bank is giving money is, the first one is overdraft, through overdraft. The second one is by creating a deposit. I'll tell you what is it. And the other one is discounting bills. So these are various three ways by which the banks are giving money to people, right? We'll study each one of them. Okay, so a small introduction on this loan. So, but receiving of deposits is not the whole story about a bank's function. If that were so, how could a bank pay interest? So, just deposit is not the only function of bank, right? If that was so, if only receiving of deposits was the only function of bank, then how would the bank pay interest rate, right? From where would the banks get that money to pay interest rate on the deposits, right? We saw earlier, I'm noted Vielva. So here we saw that under fixed deposit, banks is giving you the interest rate, say like it was, you study 6% or like this. So from where will the bank get this money to pay this interest rate? So for that, bank has to lend this, perform some other activities, right? Through which the banks get some money from the deposits which it is holding, and that is how the banks will be able to pay this 6% of interest rate, right? So hence, after collecting money by way of deposits, a bank invests it or lends it out. So either it will invest somewhere in say government securities or somewhere there, or it will do what, lend it out. It will lend it out to the people, or it sometimes also lends it to other banks, right? So money is lent to businessmen and traders usually for a short period only. So it is lending to businessmen and traders for short periods only. Usually it is for short periods. This is so because the banks must keep itself ready to meet the demands of the depositors who have deposited money for a short period. And why is it? Because the bank has to keep the money ready to pay, to give it back to the depositors, right? Who have kept it with banks for a short period only. So money is advanced by banks in any one of the following ways. How is it? By allowing an overdraft. So overdraft. This is nothing but, we studied one type of deposits under deposit, that is current account, right? We studied about this current account under deposits, right? So current accounts, usually this overdraft facility is given to this current account holders. So what happens is, if people, and usually this account is opened by businessman only, okay? So what happens is, if a businessman is not having any money in his current account, his or her current account, even during that time, the banks can lend or loan to those people, right? So customers of standing are given the right to overdraw their accounts. In other words, they can get more than they have deposited. See, they can get more than what they have deposited, but they have to pay interest rate. Yeah, this is very normal, right? Interest rate will always be charged. This is a like service charge. Interest rate is nothing but a kind of service charge what the banks are providing on the extra amount which has to be repaid within a short period. The amount of permissible overdraft varies with financial position of the borrowers, right? So supposing a current account holder, a businessman who has a current account and has a deposit of 1 lakh, say, okay, like we saw in our earlier example, 1 lakh deposit ಇದೆ current account ಅಲ್ಲಿ a businessman, ಯಾವುದು businessman ಗೆ. So what happens is, what if this businessman needs more money than 1 lakh? During that time, the businessman can approach the bank and get money more than what he or she is holding in a bank. Say 1.5 lakh ಕೂಡ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗಿ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳ್ಬೋದು. Okay, so that money, and bank will give this money to the businessman, but what the bank will do is they will charge interest rate on it. That's it. So this is one way of giving money to people, right? The second one is by creating a deposit. See, deposit is simple, you have understood it. Deposit is nothing but giving or keeping your money in bank, right? So banks, what they do is they you know they try to motivate people to open a deposit account in a bank by giving loan to them, right? So if a person wants some loan from bank, then what he or she has to do is approach a bank and ask for money. So what will bank do is ask them to open an account, right? When they are asking them to open an account, obviously, they will start developing that habit of keeping some money in their bank account, right? So this is how banks are motivating people to develop these habits of savings in banks, right? This is how they get money, by lending loans, right? So cash credit is another way of lending by banks. When a person wants a loan from a bank, he has to satisfy the manager about his ability to repay, the soundness of the venture, and his honesty of purpose. In addition, the bank may require a tangible security, right? Always you must remember this. Whenever you go ask bank for loan, bank will give you loan only when you provide them some ability to repay. You make the manager satisfy that yes, I can repay this loan. I have some security, say you have a house or property or something like this, a business, or say, through which I will be able to give you back this loan, right? So only if you have some tangible is nothing but which can be seen, right? So you can't go and tell them that I have the skill of computer technology and all, and this is how I'll repay you the loan. That will not work. Only tangible will work. Tangible security, like the property or gold if you have, or something like this, right? Okay, the time is also up for today. I'll just quickly explain this and then we'll find it. So on those securities, the bank lend you loan, or it may be satisfied with the borrower's personal security. Usually, such security is accepted as can be easily disposed of in the market. So, usually, what type of securities the bank accept? That is a security which can be easily disposed of in the market. So, in case the the person who has borrowed loan from the bank is not able to give that loan, pay that loan back to the bank, then the bank must be in a situation wherein it can, dispose of the security which is kept with the banks by the borrower, right? Like for example, a property can be sold, right? If the property is kept as a security, then property can be sold in the market anytime, like whenever the borrower is not able to pay the loan, right? Example, government, yeah, another example is government securities or shares of approved concern. Shares, government securities are also can be included as under this security, right? So then details about time and rate of interest are settled, and the loan is according to the security which you're keeping. According to that, the time and rate of interest will be charged on you on the loan which the banks are providing to you. Right? And the loan is advanced. A borrower rarely wants to draw the whole amount of his loans in cash. Usually, he opens a current account with that amount, the bank, if he already has not got an account with this bank. So usually, what these the people who are borrowing loan, they don't take money in the form of cash at one go, right? So what they do is, if they don't have a bank account in the bank, they open a new account there, and then they keep that money, that loan in that account, and take a part of that loan, right, first. Now it is exactly as if that sum had been deposited by him. So this is exactly like the deposits which someone would do if he or she has a extra surplus money with them, right? So it's like a normal deposit now it becomes. So by giving loan, the bank is also promoting the deposits. See, you can see here. So this is how a deposit is created by a bank. So this is how you know the deposit is created by a bank. That is why it is said every loans create a deposit. So a check, then again, see, you must remember, if they're depositing money, then again that money will be in the hands of banks itself, right? And then they can use that money, right? So a checkbook is given to the borrower with the right to draw checks up to the full amount of the loan, but interest is charged on the whole sum, even though only a um, part is withdrawn after the period for which the money has been borrowed is over. The borrower returns the amount with interest to the bank. Banks make most of their profits thus by giving loans. So how are the banks making profit? By giving loans. They charge interest rate on the loans which they are providing, right? And this is how they make money of the loans which they are lending it to people, or they are giving it to people. So we'll look at this. What is the time? 5 more minutes are there. Discounting bill. I think I'll finish this, and the next class, some extra functions we'll see of banks, right? So for today, we are looking at two important functions. What are those two important? One is of deposit, the other one is of loan, right? So under loan, the third way of giving loan is discounting bills, right? So discounting bills ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? This is nothing but, I'll give you an example here. So this is a bank. You have a person called A and D. There are two people, A and D, and there is a bank here. Okay. So ಈ A ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ, this will give one bill to, that bill is also called as bill of exchange, okay, to this person D. Okay. And that bill is a letter like this. Okay. This has got a maturity of say 1 year. Okay. 1 year, and some face value will be there here, like say 1000 rupee. Okay. This is a bill of 1000 which has a maturity of 1 year. Okay. So the A is giving this bill to D. Okay. So this bill is actually given, when they are trading in between. Okay. Supposing D is giving some goods or services to A, and A in turn makes his payment by giving this bill, okay, of 1000 which has a maturity of 1 year. That is he can get this 1000 rupee only after 1 year, right? So what this D can do is, D can approach bank with this bill, okay, before 1 year. Okay, you must remember this. Before the expiry of this maturity date, the D is supposed to approach a bank. Bank in turn will give this money of 1000 to D. Okay, I actually exactly 1000 the bank won't give, but instead it will charge some commission, okay, on this 1000, say some 100 rupees or something like this. So instead of 1000, 900 go to the bank, okay, to this D person, and say 100 it is charging for the charging it as commission from D. Now this bill, now you all must be wondering what will the bank do with this bill. So the bank will collect all these bills, and what the bank will do is approach the person A after 1 year. Okay, D has to approach bank before 1 year. Okay, but bank will go to A for collecting this 1000 rupee after 1 year. Okay, for which again the B will charge some commission from A as well. Okay, so this this is how the bank is giving money, right? Bank is actually giving some money to D, right? Which gets repaid by A and not D. So this is discounting of bills. So the discounting of bill by a bank is another way of lending money. The banks purchase these bills through bill broker and discount companies of discount them directly for the merchants. These bills provide a very liquid assets, an asset which can be easily turned into cash. You must remember what is liquid asset, an asset which can be turned into cash easily. Okay, the banks immediately uh, any cash for the bill after deducting the discount and wait for the bill to mature when they get back its full money. The investment in bills is considered quite safe. So it is considered quite safe because a bill bids the security of two businessmen, the drawer as well as the drawer, so that if one proves dishonest or fails, the bank can claim the money from the other, right? So you have a security of two people, A and D, alva? A and D. Ibru indulge hagidare bills, discounting bill of exchange ಅಲ್ಲಿ. So in case A ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅವನಿನ, then the bank can go to this D person, right? So double security ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ bank ಗೆ. So that's why it is considered to be more safe. So if one proves dishonest or fails, the bank can claim the money from the other. This is regarded as the best investment by the banks. It is a liquid, lucrative